Okay, guys. Sorry I've been a bit absent lately. I've had a lot of other work that's been keeping me busy. Um, it's been wedding season and whatnot lately. Anyways, but I wanted to show you guys a couple of quick samples, just a few samples from the Coolpix A. I've kind of been playing with that a little bit more, and anyways, I'm pretty impressed with it so far. The camera does very, very well in low light conditions. These aren't the most inspiring photographs, but this will give you a very good idea of how the camera is performing. You'll see right here that this is shot wide open at 800 ISO and very, very sharp. These are all. Let's see here. There we go. There's our raw. Not sure why I exported a TIFF there, but this is the original raw file from the camera. Right now, I have done nothing to this. Well, let's make sure I've done anything to this. Yeah, I did absolutely nothing to this file, just imported it. But as you can see, lots and lots of sharpness. The thing I like about this camera a lot is that it doesn't have an AA filter. So once again, you're able to extract every ounce of sharpness out of it. Pretty impressive. The focal length equals about 28 millimeters on, a full frame camera or on 35 millimeter film, and I actually kind of like the focal length. I used to be more of a telephoto kind of guy, but now as time goes on, I've been exploring the wide side of things a bit more these days. Let's see here. Oh yes, I was using the camera in teen girl mode here. Nice self-portrait. Anyways, everyone pretty much runs from me whenever they see me come with the camera. Well, at least everyone I work with. So yeah, way sharper, way more detail than I want to see in my own face. But yeah, 1/100th of a second. Once again, wide open at 2.8. We all know that any lens or camera is always going to fare better when stopped down. But things generally start to get a little bit softer whenever you're shooting wide open. So if something still looks sharp wide open, it's probably going to look good stopped down a couple of notches as well. So that's why I usually shoot everything wide open. Wow. As I said, way more sharpness than what I wanted to see in my own face. Let's see here. I believe I have a few of these that we're taking at high ISO. Looks like I continue on taking photos of myself for a little bit. Uh, Here lately, no good opportunities have presented themselves for me to actually be able to go out and take a camera out for an actual shoot. And anyways, there's been a lot of circumstances surrounding all that. But hopefully that will change very soon. And by the way, that's why I continue to delay with the D800 versus D600 review, because I've got this really awesome idea, but anyways, because of random happenings, that hasn't been possible yet, but just bear with me on that. So in this case, I was forced to take a photo of my own photo. Take a photo of a model, a photo of a photo? Nah. I'd rather just wait until we get a nice subject to shoot. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this is actually the one I wanted to show you guys. This shows off the sharpness very well here. Once again, wide open, but at ISO 100 this time. I mean, look at that. Just absolutely beautiful detail here. It's amazing. It's amazing how well this camera does. See, let's zoom in a bit more. go to 2:1. And look at these random hydraulic hoses and bits. I mean, full picture. That's the nice thing about having a 18.5 millimeter lens on this. When you're shooting at 2.8 with a wide angle lens like that, you still end up with lots and lots of depth of field. Now, of course, if you're going to shoot portraits with this, wouldn't be as beneficial there. Obviously, would be kind of a hindrance there. But if you're into shooting landscapes and just street photography and everyday things, that is definitely going to be of great help to you. Combine the very, very good high ISO performance of the sensor with that wide angle 2.8 lens, and you've got yourself a really good combination. Let's see, our focus actually, our focus starts to drop off a bit as we go over here. Some color fringing and such, as you would expect, but nothing that lens profiles in Lightroom can't fix. I haven't looked to see if there is a lens profile for this camera yet. I've got the latest Lightroom update. Let's see. Let's see here. This. Nope. There's nothing yet. It's got Nikon. You got lots of options there, but yeah, the Coolpix A is not there yet. So, although whatever it defaulted to there seemed to be working out pretty well actually. What did it default to? It defaulted to the 18-300. Interesting. Oddly enough, that actually worked pretty well. But of course, we can also use, the manual correction tools if we wanted to. Let's see. Let's look at a couple of other samples here. What else have I got here? There's another photo of our earth moving machine here. And it's rendering. You guys will have to excuse me. My my voice has just about had it, so that's why I'm kind of coughing and such. Okay, I've had enough of that machine. Let's go to something else here. A random sign. For some odd reason, I've always wanted one of these things. Apparently, there seems to be no legal means to be able to acquire one of these. Okay, that's today's random thought. Alrighty, but yeah, if we look at this closer once again, very nice sharpness here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it almost looks like we're starting to pick up a little bit of a moire pattern there in the bricks. As I said, this camera has no AA filter. Although, I think we're going to see lots and lots more cameras that don't have AA filters in the future. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. As the resolution of cameras increase, the need to have an AA filter will decrease, and the chances of seeing moire will decrease as well. Take this in a bit closer. I mean, it's very sharp here. I don't know if you guys can notice this also, but the dynamic range from this camera is very good as well. This particular image, the sun was coming down from this direction here, and it's hitting this side and illuminating it, and so this side was pretty bright, and then you've got shade over on this side of the image, but the camera took everything in very, very well. That's something else that they continue to improve on with all the current cameras. Let's see here. This. And if I remember right, I was trying to get it to Moire a bit here, although this probably isn't the best pattern for that. It didn't. 800 ISO on that shot, 1/30th of a second. That's something else, by the way, that wider focal length allows you to do. It allows you to handhold things much easier. It allows you to handhold much slower shutter speeds. Yeah. So, anyways, no Moire there. I'm gonna keep playing with this camera a little bit more, though. By the way. And by the way, guys, I think this right here could actually end up being my new test scene. Not really sure yet, but I don't know. I kind of like it. So let's see here. ISO 2000. I did actually stop down a bit here. Looks like to 5.6, 40th of a second. No tripod. In normal Jeremy Smith style. Okay, let's see here. If this were sharpness test, though, I would definitely use a tripod, but here, of course, I'm just wanting to show how it does at high ISO. Lots of detail being held on to here. This is 2000 ISO. Honestly, I'm not really sure why I picked 2000 ISO, to be honest with you. Let's see here, what else do we have here? Oh, let's go back to some of these nice shadows back here. Not too bad. Of course, we're in Lightroom, and of course, this is a raw file. I haven't done anything to it except to import it. And all the noise reduction settings are at their default. Let's see here. Lightroom is using, yeah, so it's using, a little bit of color noise reduction, no luminance noise reduction. I always like to look at high ISO of raw files. I never like to look at the JPEGs because the in-camera processing can vary so wildly between models. Okay, anyways, you guys get the idea there. I've got one other shot, which is a bit higher ISO. I guess using a tripod here could have been a bit more useful because we could have gotten the exact same thing in both shots. Tell you what, let's do this. Let's look at these side by side. We're pretty close to the same region here. Something tells me that when I was taking these pictures, I probably got interrupted. This reminds me very much of a camera like the Nikon D5000 or Nikon D7000 or just about any other APS-C size crop sensor Nikon period, to be honest with you. Very good ISO performance up to about well, as I always tell people, you can use most of these cameras up to about 1600 ISO without having to think about it at all. 3200 if you have to, and anything above 3200 I consider to be, for emergency purposes only. And I'd say that holds true with this camera. I mean, it does hold on to quite a bit of detail, as you can see. But yeah, this is definitely the point where the image quality really starts to come apart. So, anyways, let's see what else do I have here. Oh yeah, and by the way, just one other thing I noticed with this camera, it would be nicer. I mean, I do like the focus system. Okay, um, I mean, call me spoiled, but if I'm going to have a camera that's small with a DSLR sized image sensor that's capable of giving me DSLR results, it would be very nice to have focusing system a little bit faster. I wouldn't consider this slow by any means, you know, like a just ordinary, everyday run-of-the-mill point and shoot. But at the same time, it's definitely not going to be as fast as a DSLR. Well, certainly not as fast as a DSLR, duh. But it's also a little bit behind mirrorless camera speed as well. So if you're comparing this to a mirrorless camera like a, you know, Sony NEX series camera or even Nikon's own, you know, J1 or V1 or any of their 1 series mirrorless cameras, it is going to be a little bit behind that focus speed wise. I do plan to spend more time with this camera, and I plan to spend more time with more compact cameras in general because I guess over the years, you know, when I first started in photography, I had a point and shoot, and I worked my way up to different types of cameras and eventually SLRs, and I pretty much never touched a point and shoot after that. So it's kind of interesting for me to come back to point and shoot cameras and you know, see how they've evolved over the years as more time keeps going on. As I always tell people, it's getting a lot harder to draw lines between different types of cameras. You know, there was a time when we just had our point and shoots, just tiny pocket-sized ones, and then we had point and shoots with more zoom, and then we had DSLRs, and that was it. Well, now the camera manufacturers have gone absolutely insane. um, I guess it's a good time to be interested in photography because, you know, there's so many different types of cameras to choose from. But now, you know, you can have a compact camera that has a big sensor and DSLR performance, or you can have a compact camera that's kind of, you know, in between. You know, you can have something like the Sony RX100 we just looked at, which is a little bit larger sensor and some of the controls of a DSLR, but it still doesn't have, you know, the larger sensor of the Coolpix A. Of course, it also doesn't have the higher cost of the Coolpix A either. So you can kind of go that way, or you can even go the route of mirrorless cameras these days. And so there's so many options, but we're going to kind of take a look at all these options together. And this is where this is where I am definitely learning a lot more myself because, as I said, I'm definitely more familiar with DSLRs. So as we go on this journey, if you guys have any feedback, definitely write me in the comments below, and I will hopefully learn as much as you guys are learning, and we'll just all learn together. Until next time, this is Jeremy Smith, Photog J the Great, signing off.